we take a closer look into a California congressional race involving a pro-life candidate you might recognize. Kimberlin Brown Pelzer is a longtime actress who starred in soap operas including The Bold and the Beautiful, but now the wife and mother is entering the political scene as the Republican candidate for California's 36th congressional district. The pro-life group Susan B. Anthony List has endorsed Brown Pelzer in her race for the U.S. House of Representatives, calling her a fearless pro-life advocate. Kimberlin Brown Pelzer, a longtime actress, now a Republican candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives in California's 36th district, joins us from Palm Springs, California. Kimberlin, thank you for your time.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. First off, why are you running for Congress? I think our viewers would be interested to know when you decided to take a turn from acting into politics.
You know, I really believe it's time for good conservatives to step up to the plate to make a difference. We need to have that honesty back in Washington the way that it used to be, somebody who's going with our voice. I just feel that for the first time in the history of our country, we are not leaving something better to our future generations. And unfortunately, I don't want to be a part of that generation that leaves a worse off America than the one I inherited from my parents and my grandparents.
I know the pro-life Susan B. Anthony List has endorsed you in your race. If you don't mind sharing, when did you decide you wanted to become and that you were pro-life?
Well, you know, I've always been pro-life. You know, at one time I thought with certain circumstances, and as you get older and as you mature and your opinions change, you know, you really can't have it both ways. It has to be one way or the other. It's either a yes or a no vote, and I am definitely for pro-life.
As someone who has spent a significant part of your career acting, I'm curious, did you ever get pushback for your pro-life views in Hollywood?
You know, surprisingly, my views in Hollywood really weren't that different. I have a lot of friends that are liberal but feel the same way I do. I find that we tend to agree on more than we disagree. And the pro-life issue was actually one that was very, very strong with friends that I worked with as well. So I never got that Hollywood blowback until I decided to run for office. And then it just came at me because I had an R next to my name.
Well, that room for dialogue that you mentioned is encouraging to hear. I'd like to turn now to policy. In your state, California legalized assisted suicide back in 2016. There has been some recent back and forth in the courts regarding its legality, but in 1 year alone, it was estimated that over 500 people lost their lives to assisted suicide in California. What is your reaction to that news?
You know, I believe that with the new Right to Try Act, those people that are terminally ill that really never believed that they had an alternative, now they do. And I hope that they're taking a close look at that. I understand how families don't want to see family members suffer, but I truly believe that there's really only one person, and that's somebody bigger than all of us that makes that decision.
Kimberlin, we recently saw the Supreme Court rule that California pro-life pregnancy centers do not have to promote or refer abortions. How significant is the Supreme Court in the pro-life movement, in your opinion?
You know, the pro-life movement, as much noise as we make, we don't make enough. You've always heard that term. It's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. Well, the other side's been getting oiled for a very, very, very long time. But I think with our new appointees to courts all across the United States in record numbers, we're finally going to have a voice. We're finally going to have our point of view brought to the forefront. And with these new additions to the Supreme Court, and hopefully another one coming up later, I think we're going to be able to make some real headway.
And finally, if you are elected, what would you do to advance the pro-life cause in our nation?
I would take the voices of the people, because like I said before, the voices haven't been heard for far too long. People feel as though no one's been listening. I will definitely be that person that listens, and I will definitely be that person that goes to champion for all of us.
Kimberlin Brown Pelzer, Republican candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives in California's 36th District. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it.